Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Big Fractal Tangle. My name is Timothy Falconer. I am a software developer and manager and consultant. I've been doing this for more than 30 years, and this series is my attempt to teach you what I know. Now, that is a big topic. So rather than do the usual YouTube or LinkedIn learning tutorials that cover topics with both too much and too little detail, I'm going to be taking a different approach, one that is improvised, holistic, and practical. By improvised, I mean that I'm not going to follow a plan. Everything is unscripted. I'm going to record from the very beginning onward live. And whether I speed things up or not, you're going to get to see everything that I see. Consider me a pair programmer who is teaching you how to do something practical and providing context along the way. By holistic, I mean that we're going to be covering all the topics. Whether you consider yourself just a coder or a manager or a CTO or a UX designer, it doesn't matter. I'm covering all of these things because I believe that people should be generalists. I think that you should know how to do all the jobs, whether you specialize in a particular area or not. Everything is connected to everything else. And the more that you know this, the better you'll be able to communicate with your coworkers, and the more you'll be able to anticipate the special needs of other people on your team. By practical, I mean that we're going to build something real as we do this. You'll be able to use the code that I'm creating to make your own work as well. So no pet shop demos here. This is going to be immediately useful no matter where you dive in. Each episode will be no more than 20 minutes in length, and I'll be releasing 3 of these a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. GMT. Each episode will also have an article on the website, so you can follow by text if you'd rather do it that way. And there are going to be links throughout the course to future deep dives so that if you feel like you need more information in a particular course, let me know and I'll make a branch at that point. Let's start detailing topics with some super fast Miro brainstorming. So this is what sets it apart initially, is that I want to teach how to do all jobs. We're going to learn on demand as needed, as opposed to what is normally done in places like LinkedIn Learning, where they go, okay, let's learn about Spring. So then you just like spend 5 or 10 hours just learning about one topic. But the truth is, none of these lessons teach you how everything is connected to each other. You don't know, for instance, how to make Spring and React work with each other, or how to enable behavior-driven development, or any of these different things. They don't tie the threads together. One of the primary tent poles of this course is learning React. And so let's do the next one, which is Spring. All right, so this feels different than these. This is full stack development. This is, technically what's called DevOps. Now, speeding through my brainstorming, you can see that I'm trying to put all of the tools that you would use on a complex software project into context, and especially focusing on what one person could reasonably learn. Okay, so this is initial take at the big fractal tangle. It looks like a lot of things to learn, and honestly, I'd say most of these things are their own LinkedIn Learning courses. The plan is to teach just enough so that people understand what all these pieces mean, why they're useful, and how to dig deeper, all the while making the website for Big Fractal Tangle, which initially will be kind of like a blog website, but it'll get bigger and bigger as we go. So this is going to be a full development project from end to end. As you can see, the orange side here is more towards the product side, so related to product managers, architects, designers. And then the middle part is traditional development, team-based traditional development. And then the right side is the DevOps side, where infrastructure is handled. Now, the reason for splitting things up this way is that these tend to be parallel, but separately managed. On top of all of it, tying everything together will be 3 tools. Confluence, which is a wiki space, Jira, which is an issue tracker, and GitHub, which is a version control repository. All the artifacts are ultimately going to be in these 3 things. Some of the larger items that will be discussed, concept of value stream delivery, which is a new way of delivering software. Of course, everything in software is never new. It's just a new way of framing a lot of best practices. People who are familiar with Agile will feel right at home. The one thing that Value Stream is very much focused on is down here, metrics. Everything is really driven by KPIs and metrics. We'll talk a lot about that. Now, on the other side, infrastructure as code is a central principle, which is you should be able to push a button and create the environment no matter what you want and not rely upon manual steps. This is one of the best ways to create stability and predictability. Down below here is observability. Now, this is using tools that in the past have been called application performance monitoring tools, such as Dynatrace, but my view of them, and I think really the current view of them, is that they are much more useful as an end-to-end, top-to-bottom observability platform. And so we'll talk a lot about that. Now, in between, there's a bunch of specific tools which I have experience with and we're going to use to build something out. Most of these tools are replaceable. Like, you don't have to use React, you could use Angular, you don't have to use Spring, you can use Node. And ultimately, if there is interest in creating branches of the course that focus on different pieces of this puzzle, then I will. But for now, this is my stack that I'm going to be using. Now, in the middle, everything is tied together by Scrum, which is a very specific way of doing Agile for teams, and anchored at the bottom by automated testing. Everything is really tied into some form or another of automated testing. Everything over on this side and everything on this side, and really everything between Scrum here, is built upon this little tree trunk of automated testing. So we'll be talking a lot about that. The next step is going to be creating our environment to be able to build with these tools. So I've created a brand new Mac account. It's on the same machine as my normal Mac account. I'm going to try to walk you through getting to the point where you can follow along with the series. So first things first, let's get rid of this Apple cruft. The only thing I've done so far is I put in 1Password, which is my password manager, and I show you, which is allowing me to record this. All right, so I got everything but this. First thing I need to do is install Chrome. And so I'll open up Safari. I use Safari basically to install Chrome. That's it. So I'm going to download Chrome. I highly recommend you use Chrome for development because there's a lot of tools that work with it that work with other tools. You can use Firefox as well, but I'm going to be using Chrome. As you can see, I'm letting things play out in real time rather than speeding them up. I'm doing this for those that want to watch all the steps. If you're wondering why am I watching them install Chrome, I suggest just going into a meditative mindset and follow along. By the way, if you hear it in the background, I have a parrot who is happily playing his coconut. So it says, do you really want to use your Chrome as your default browser? Yes. Now, please pardon the awkward jump cut to the past as I create a brand new Google account so that I can separate it from the rest of my world, which is something I do for every project. All right, so I'm going to try to get an account called Big Fractal. All right, it's taken about I use 1Password for all of my passwords. It's actually been years since I've remembered a single password or used one. This is a really good practice to get into. It increases security enormously. You can pretty much copy and paste any password you ever need. Another reason for letting things play out in real time is that it kind of sets the tone for the over my shoulder pair programming approach to this series. There's a lot of small things that you don't think you need to know that just kind of come out. Then you just click continue in a new Chrome profile. So it kind of does it for you. And welcome, Big. That's not a bad color. You go into manage your Google account. And then it's here. And I think I had one from before. And downloads. Good enough. Okay. So, and it should show up here. I think you gotta wait. All right, I'll come back. All right, so now that I have this account, I can make my own toolbar, bookmarks, the whole bit. That's the real benefit of it. And I can switch easily without messing up anything else. And finally, I'm going to put the bookmark bar on. So that's it for this episode. Next time, I'm going to do more setup, starting with some deep dive command line stuff. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.